I picked this topic today. I wanted to get some folks in. I was working with a dealer just a couple of weeks ago. I was doing an online sales training for them, and one of the things that the dealer wanted me to talk about was the use of Facebook pages. He had a bunch of brand new salespeople. I'm talking about 18, 19-year-old salespeople who were just getting started. And it's a big dealership, a big Ford store. They have a big social presence, and they do all the things, and they do a pretty good job of it. But he said they had all these new salespeople. The first thing they wanted to do was to start their Facebook page, because they've seen some of the other salespeople at this store who have the Facebook page, and they want to jump in with both feet and do all the personal branding stuff that everyone that you hear all over the internet. Personal branding, building their own Facebook page, coming up with a catchy slogan, the whole nine yards. They all want it to be this brand, and the general sales manager was honestly trying to talk a lot of the younger guys out of doing this for a couple of reasons. And he called me and said, "Hey, can you talk to these guys?" So I'm gonna give you two reasons that I told these 18, 19-year-old salespeople that necessarily aren't you building your own Facebook business page isn't the right thing for you to be doing right now. So isn't the right thing for you to be doing right now. And the reason that you should be doing it. There's one good reason. I can only think of one reason. Obviously, there's a little misleading title I got you in here today. That do I really need a Facebook business page to sell more cars? Well, of course you don't. People were selling cars a long time before there was a Facebook business page. But they can be helpful, and specifically if you want to do one thing. There's one reason you absolutely have to have a Facebook business page, either for your dealership or for yourself. And that's if you want to spend money. If you want to buy advertising on Facebook, and if you want to use the enormous power and algorithm and targeting ability of Facebook to purchase advertising, then you have to have a Facebook business page. That's exactly what it's for. It's a portal to the Facebook advertising world. So that's what it's for. That's its main function in life, is to separate you from your money and give it to Facebook. It can serve a lot of other things, and there's lots of reasons that you could have one. And if you're a dealership, of course, there's lots of reasons that you should have one. But if you're for an individual salespeople, opening a Facebook business page and creating some kind of targetable, mark the Motorola guy, mark the Nissan guy, mark the car guy, whatever you want to call yourself, Truckin' Tim, whatever, these things that people come up with to be that. You don't necessarily have to have this slogan, and you don't necessarily need to be starting on Facebook until you learn how to use Facebook. So I tell people not to get involved with using a Facebook business page until you are 100% confident, highly confident about using Facebook itself as a business tool. Facebook is the world's greatest. It's the greatest customer relationship management system that's ever been invented, because you're talking to people 24 hours a day. Well, 16 hours a day, from the moment their feet hit the floor in the morning to the moment their head hits the pillow at night. They're on their phone, they're on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever that they want to use. But I talk about Facebook because Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla. It's actually the 85% gorilla. 85% of all adult US people have a Facebook page, and they check it, a couple of times a day on average, at least a couple of times a week. So you've got 100% access to them, and it turns out that you've got almost exclusive access if you start becoming people's friends on Facebook, because the average consumer has 200 or 300 friends on Facebook, 200 or 300 connections on Facebook that they're interacting with, and the odds are there aren't a lot of other automotive salespeople that have connected with your 250 or 300 friends that you're one of them with, that you share them with. So I tell people not to get worried about using Facebook and spending money on Facebook and spending extra effort on building a business profile until you've really hammered in the ability to connect with these humans 24 hours a day on the actual Facebook. And Facebook has an entire communications ecosystem. They have the messenger device, which is just like texting, fantastic for staying in touch with people 24 hours a day, seven days a week, which has a built-in video function. So you can send them videos, short videos, 20-second videos, just to, hey, how you doing? Or a reminder to see who they are. And then it reminds you who's got a birthday coming up. And you don't get any of that from the business page. And worse yet, business pages have lower engagements than actual just your regular profile. They have a lower engagement rate because they're not personal. A lot of the activity that you're going to get on Facebook becomes when you actually tag the other human being in whatever you're doing. I don't care if you're posting, walk around videos or customer hero shots at the end of the day or whatever you're posting. If you don't tag another human being in it, if you don't have another human being get involved in that, your engagement is going to be dramatically lower. And you can't tag friends in your business profile page. Matter of fact, you can't even get them to follow your business profile unless you're friends with them first. So the thing most people do is they go out and they start making a bunch of friends on Facebook, because in these sales trainings that I do, that's the first thing I tell people. The first thing you need to do is make more friends. Make more friends, sell more cars. And so I had them, start adding. How many friends can we add in the next 5 minutes? And the record's 400, by the way, 400 friends in the 5-minute contest that we're having. This was a couple of years ago. But what most salespeople do then is they add more friends, and the first thing they do when they make more friends is they immediately send them a request. Hey, be sure to follow my business page, Ted the truck guy, and here it is. So you're double dipping and making it salesy right off the bat. So what I tell people is just concentrate on being friends. And the rule is, if you want the customers to stay in your life, whether it's a prospect that you're trying to reach or a customer that you've just sold and you want to be in their life for a long time, if you're wanting them to be in your life, you need to be involved in their life. And their life, more often than not, is on social media. And then once you've got the communication, the ability to really make friends, lifelong friends on Facebook, then if you want to add some steroids to that and pump some money in, then that's when you go to adding the business profile. That's what I think, but I invited y'all here today because I wanted to hear what you think and what your experience has been if you have a business profile page, and what you think the benefits are versus the time, energy, effort, and money that you put into it. I'm opened up to anybody wanting to pop in. Go ahead.
Hey, Terry.
Yes, sir.
This is Clinton. I muted myself earlier because the wind out here is crazy.
Yeah, I hear that going on. Thanks, buddy. How's the boy doing?
Well, it's just getting started. Listen, I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. My name's Clinton Bramlett. I'm an internet sales manager, and I've done a whole lot of things with the dealership. But currently, I'm an internet sales manager, and I found a lot of good things going on with Facebook business page, and then I found it becoming a little bit time consuming to the point where it was very difficult to keep up with that and my personal page and the limitations on the business page. You were completely right about what you said. You gotta make friends and bring them in. You gotta have them on the personal side, and then switch them. And you can't do it right off the jump either. Otherwise, you get salesy and they bail on you. But at the end of the day, there's positives and negatives. That's why I was real interested in hearing what you had to say about it.
Yeah. What are some of the positives that you found? I laid out the negatives, but there are some positives. What did you lay out? What do you find?
I found that at the beginning of doing this and doing it, obviously more correctly and not running people off and scaring people off and thinking, oh my God, I just friended a sales guy. It was to casually get in and get to know them. Also, the coolest thing that I found about it was selling a car and then friending that person on my personal page and getting them, because we already have a rapport and a relationship, getting them to then jump on my business page and pull some of their friends with them so that I could get easy referrals out of it.
Right.
That tended to work really well. At the end of the day, though, I got to the point where I was spending some money on there and wasn't seeing the results I wanted. And I didn't think that was Facebook's fault, but mine, for lack of knowledge on how to do what I was doing.
Yeah. Well, Facebook's there, it's there to enrich them, and you're competing against, a lot of folks for those eyeballs. So it can get expensive. And that's really why I discourage folks from using it, because Facebook can be so valuable the free part of it that you don't have to spend anything on. And just like you were inviting people over to your Facebook page and bringing those referrals with them, there's lots of ways that you can use Facebook. What I tell Facebook is for. It's for making more friends to sell more cars, but it's also to sell more cars to make more friends, because once you get those people, you got them on the lot, the first thing you do is you add them as a friend on Facebook, and now you're in their life. You're in their life next week and next month and 3 months from now when they're scheduling their first service call. So you get them in there, and then you just stay involved in their life. Adam, how about you, brother? You got anything to add?
Yeah, I'll echo your sentiments, Terry. Last year I spent about a year selling cars at a Nissan store near Nashville, and I've been doing digital marketing for the last 10 years, so I know a little bit more than the average salesperson about Facebook marketing, SEO, all that good stuff. And I created a business page. I did a little bit of advertising, and for an individual salesperson, you're going to be better off just, like you said, friending people, getting involved in local groups, buy sell groups, and enthusiast pages, and becoming part of the conversation. Gary Vee wrote a book a long time ago called The Thank You Economy, and I think everybody who's in sales should read it. He also wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook that kind of echoes this. But with Facebook's algorithm, a business page is only going to reach 1 to 2% of the people that like or follow that page. So unless you're a major brand or a dealership that's got thousands of followers, your posts on a business page are going to reach a handful of people, unless you're advertising to them, spending money. And unless you have a Rolodex or a contact list that is full of 10,000 people, your money is going to be wasted, because you're not going to be able to target effectively. So you're going to get, and I'm not totally trying to discourage people from creating a business page, because you can build it up over time, but don't create that business page with the idea that, tomorrow you're going to have 10,000 people that like the page, and, you're going to get all this business from it. You're going to get a ton more value and engagement from posting from your personal page and just getting involved with conversations with people on groups, and create content. Create content on Instagram, on TikTok, that's valuable. That's not just all salesy. So if you treat the platform the way it was intended to be used as a social network to engage with folks, you're going to get, that much more out of it.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned, joining these buy sell groups, and there's, where I live, there's a billion of these. There's buy sell groups, and there's auto enthusiast groups. There's the Middle Tennessee Car Club, and there's a cars and coffee group that meets once a month. There's all these groups on there. I'm sure there's one that fits in your life and your business strategy. And if there's not, start one. One of the greatest things you can make, but I tell people, before I go to all the effort of creating a Facebook business page, I would start trying to create a Facebook group that you can start growing a community in. Whether it's, I have a group here in Nashville called the Nashville Association of Sales Professionals, and it's just like-minded sales professionals, and we have a couple hundred folks in that group, and we refer business back and forth. Have some car dealers and car salespeople in that group, and because everybody I know is the world's a target-rich market when you're selling cars. Everybody's a buyer, so just get to know more folks. Michael J. Smith, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Are you inside yet?
I'm here, Terry. Here at home.
So, do you have a Facebook business? You haven't seen one of your. Do you have a business page?
Well, I have one. However, for all the reasons all you guys are saying, I really never use it, because you can get engagement on your personal page, and I figure I only have about 1,400 people. And I don't think you can make the connections for all the same reasons. So I don't use it. And our store, I mean, frankly, kind of makes me even want not to have one because we have a horrible interaction and the silliest posts that I think aren't of any value. I mean, I love my store, but I hate
Yeah.
our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they have-
and most of them are, like you said, they're just doing silly memes or something like that. This is the one thing I was here to mostly talk about: salespeople using them, but stores. We have a couple of dealers on, general managers. I'll ask their opinion, but for most groups, most stores, what I recommend is doing the exact same thing with your business page. You have to have one. You're going to be buying advertising, but I think you need to be doing everything humanly possible to humanize that Facebook page where you're getting all your salespeople posting their stuff on there and sharing the stuff that comes out of there and actually putting a face on Facebook instead of just going through the motions and clicking on something. But the most important thing is answering it like it's the dang telephone. It's not, your Facebook Messenger, that's another telephone system. And if you let the engagement languish, it's going to go away. Mike Porro, Mike's gone. Chris Kelly, what's going on with you, buddy? What do you have to add to the conversation? Nope. Clinton dropped out, and Chris, I guess is on mute. So that's it's just the three of us. Were you adding anything else, Mike?
Yeah. So while I'm, Julianne works in our internet department, but she
what
also
does she do? She's the internet manager.
Internet manager, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's listening to you, and she's there. Well, also she was involved in an MLM called Nerium, and she's going, you are not going to have a business page, because what she learned is that there's no reason you got to have the interaction.
Right.
Don't ever get a business page, and I kind of agree. And Terry, I was going to say you should look at our business. I mean, our Facebook page is frankly, and I don't post as much as I should, but our business page is mostly me, just because I'm an administrator for our Facebook page.
Right.
Really only just so I can post my own stuff.
Yeah.
So I share my stuff with our Facebook page, and once in a while they've started making a few 30-second videos of showing cars, or a few cars are in inventory, or they were highlighting a salesperson. But I don't think there's any point a good Facebook page. I mean, unless you're taking it seriously and you post a lot of stuff. Like one of the Toyota of Longo out in California, they have like pretty active Facebook page, but of course they're the largest Toyota store in the country.
Right.
And so then you can do it, but I just don't see any value in doing anything but your own Facebook page.
Yeah, well, that's the store that size. They probably have a person dedicated. That's their job, is to create social content,
sure,
and create stories and narrative going around the dealership. But my whole point is for an individual, and that's great. Like I said, if that's what they're using it for, so that people can get to that and additionally spend the money to promote that content. But for the individual, that engagement happens on a personal level, person to person, one human being to another. So I've we're 27:22. That's everything that I've got. Unless you guys have something to add or something to say, I appreciate you joining in. I'm going to chop this at the front of the beginning and stick it up in the group so the people who couldn't make. We had about 40 people. Thanks, Chris. We had about 40 people on LinkedIn and Facebook say they were going to join in. We got about 6, so shooting about 15%. That ain't so shabby. I'll put it in there.